Head basketball coach Michael Walton, Wesleyan College.
How long have you been coaching here?
This is my second year here at Wesleyan.
What do you think about it so far?
You know, it's been a challenge. It really has. There's not been much tradition for us to come in and build upon, so we've had to create certain things here to try to create a different mentality and a different atmosphere, an atmosphere that kind of demands success. And so we came in last year and we founded what we do on what we call our 5 pillars of Pioneer Pride. And they are commitment, effort, discipline, trust, and team we. And it didn't take long last year for us to connect to that and commit to that. And so, year 2, it's a little bit easier. I think the mentality's there. We're working hard. We understand what it takes, but it's still a challenge. We still, we lack the depth. We lack some of the resources that a lot of other institutions have, but we don't use those as excuses. We try to fight through and do what we can with what we have. My basketball background goes back probably to 5 or 6 years old. So you're looking at maybe 25 years ago. No, actually it goes back further than that. My father actually, when he was a student at Georgia Southern University, during halftime of their ball games, he would put me out on the court by myself, and I'd be the halftime entertainment, out dribbling the ball. And 2 years old, out trying to shoot hoops. So it started there, and I fell in love with it fairly early, playing here in some camps here in Macon. Jeff Malone, former NBA great, who was also a Macon Knight, did a camp when I was younger. He'd do a camp every summer and playing in his camps. And then once I hit about 5th and 6th grade, I ran into some great coaches. Coach Randy Crawford was my youth coach. And then I hit high school, and I had Coach Robert Slocum over at Mount DeSales, and then Coach Don Sherwood, who were great influences and teachers of the game for me. And then, at Rice University, where I played my college ball, I had head coach Willis Wilson and assistant coaches Marty Gross and Todd Smith, and those guys were really influential as far as my basketball knowledge and my passion and my desire to want to coach the game of basketball. As it relates to my players, I think Coach Walton is a basketball coach, a mentor, a big brother, an uncle, a leader. He's a very valuable resource, and that's what I try to be in what I do. I'm a player's coach, at least I try to be, because I understand the value of what my position can be for younger people. And so I like to be more than just a basketball coach. I like to be able to help my students, my athletes off the court as well, because we all know at some point the ball stops bouncing. So how do you manage life? And that's how I like to prepare my student athletes. And I think if you were to ask them, they'd tell you that I demand much from them. I push them to be their best at all times. And I want them to be able to perform at that level at all times, because when you get into the real world, it's all about competition. It's all about preparation. It's all about self-confidence and self-esteem. And so we try to build those things, and we try to give them some resources and some things that they can reach back on once they hit the real world. I'll tell you, I really admire Bill Self. He's the head basketball coach at the University of Kansas. When I was playing at Rice University, he was then the head coach at Tulsa University, who was one of our rivals in the conference. And just seeing him interact with his players and the times that I have met him and spoke with him, he's very humble. And that's something that I think a lot of people in my profession, in this profession, can lose sight of, is that you weren't the only one who got you to where you are. There were several people who got you to where you are. And he seems to be one of those kind of guys like myself. I think he's a player's coach. I can remember, to give you an idea, we're playing in the conference tournament my freshman year at Rice. And we're in Fresno, California. There's a big hotel. All the teams are staying in the same hotel. So we leave practice. We're going back to the hotel, and I happen to walk by our room. He's in the room with his players playing the PlayStation. To me, that's huge, because it makes him human. And, your players and your student athletes can buy into that when they know you're human. You're not holier than thou. And he's a great guy. I admire him, Roy Williams. I had a chance to meet Roy. He's the head coach at University of North Carolina. Just to give you a story here, I met him at a recruiting event maybe 3 years ago, one summer, at an AAU event. And I wrote him a few days afterwards, and a couple weeks later, I received a return letter from him. And it was huge for him to take the time, just to write back. And it shows that, he's human. And I think we lose sight of that sometimes when we look at coaches at the collegiate level, professional level. We seem to put them on a pedestal that sometimes they actually put themselves on. Sometimes we put them on that. But, I try to be as humble as I can, and I think those are some great examples of guys that have gone ahead of me who can kind of show me the way. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited about this team this year. Last year, we made some great things happen with 6 basketball players. And we had 2 seniors who were very committed to this program. Then we had Lindsey Grimsley, who was a transfer last year, who brought a different level of intensity and focus and preparation to us. But we had 6, and no matter how good you are, when you lack depth, it's kind of hard to do great things. And we actually were able to do those things because, like I said, the 5 pillars that we build our program on, the girls bought into. And so they never quit, they always fought, never allowed themselves to believe that they were out of a basketball game. And so, this year we come in, we've got 10, and we added some pieces to the puzzle with a junior college transfer, Kelly Bacon. She's a great point guard for us. Once we get her going, I think she brings some athleticism and some scoring ability at the point guard position, which will be great for us. We had Nicole Paysauer, freshman shooting guard from North Carolina, extremely good shooter. And so, to add those pieces to Lindsey, and then we've got Shavonda coming back, who's our captain, one of our captains, along with Lindsey. We've got Nevia, who I'm expecting to have a big-time breakout season. So I think we've got the pieces, but with the pieces, the commitment that we have this year is at a completely different level than it was last year. Division III does not allow us to do any preseason workouts with them. We have to start practicing on the first day of practice. But these young ladies came in the first week of school, they started running, they started lifting weights, they started doing individual workouts all on their own. So that tells me that they're committed and they're ready to make the next step to being successful. So I think we've built some things that we can grab from and try to really do something special this season. We want you to be a part of it. Support us. We want to reach out to alums. We want to reach out to local supporters. We want to reach out to campus, and we want you guys to come help us build this thing. You're a part of it. Come help us build it.